Hi, my name is Dr. Lindsay Zubritsky, and I'm a board-certified dermatologist. Today, let's talk about dry skin. Now, dry skin is something that is very prevalent during the winter time. As the humidity in the air tends to drop, so does our skin's moisture. In the summertime, whenever the humidity rises, our skin tends to be a little bit less dry and more hydrated. So let's talk about some ways to prevent dry skin. So the most important part about preventing and treating dry skin actually starts in the shower. So when we shower, I know a lot of us tend to really love hot baths and showers, but that is the number one trigger for dry skin. The hotter the shower, and the hotter the water temperature, the more likely it is for our skin to dry out. So I always recommend using lukewarm water when in the shower. The second problem when we're showering is the kind of soap that we use. If you're going to use a bar soap, I do recommend using something like Dove Sensitive Skin. I would recommend avoiding things like Ivory and Irish Springs. These tend to really dry the skin out. Immediately after showering, it's important that you get out of the shower and instead of using a towel to totally dry yourself off, you just pat your skin dry with a towel. Now, while your skin is still damp, this is the best time to apply a moisturizer. So when your skin is damp, think of it like a sponge. So a dry sponge, and you put something on it, it really can't soak up anything. But when that sponge is damp or wet, it really can absorb a ton of things that you put on it. So your skin's just like that. So when you get out of the shower, you want to put on moisturizers immediately when your skin is damp. That's when it's going to be the most beneficial. When it comes to moisturizers, this can be a tricky subject. A lot of people are used to using lotions that come from a pump bottle. It's the classic moisturizer that we use. We love things with fragrances. I so Now, I understand that ointment-based moisturizers can feel very greasy and people really don't like that on the skin. So I then recommend using a cream-based moisturizer. Again, this should have no added fragrances to it. If you add fragrances, that can again lead to skin sensitivity. When someone has atopic dermatitis, their skin barrier is already broken down, and this just adds fuel to the fire when you use products with fragrances to it. Now, if you have extra dry skin, I recommend that you moisturize at least twice a day. Some people need to moisturize more often, especially when it comes to dry hands or hand dermatitis. I know that we're all washing our hands very frequently because of the pandemic, and I continue to recommend and encourage that you do that. However, that can be really tough on the skin of the hands. So my recommendation is to, after every single wash, that you apply a thick cream-based, non-scented hand moisturizer. Another tip that works really well is right before bedtime when you get out of the shower. Again, when your hands are wet, put something really thick and greasy on, like a Vaseline or petroleum jelly, and then put your hands in white cotton gloves and go to sleep like that. When you wake up, your hands will be nice and moisturized. Another tip to combat dry skin is to sleep with a humidifier in your bedroom. So again, like I had mentioned before, humidity plays a huge role in the dryness and hydration of our skin. So when the humidity is low, your skin tends to be dry. So adding a humidifier to your bedroom can add more moisture to the air and improve our skin hydration and moisture. Another tip is to focus on the clothing that you're wearing. So rough fabrics like wool can really irritate the skin and lead to more sensitivity and dryness. So I recommend using 100% cotton, breathable fabrics, just to help prevent more dryness of the skin. When it comes to dryness, you also can't neglect things like your lips. So lips can be really dry, and I really don't recommend using chapsticks. That can actually dry your lips out more, and it does contain fragrances, so it's more irritation. So again, back to the basics. I always recommend petroleum jelly, putting that on at bedtime and really slathering it on. It also works really well for the eyelids as well as the fingers. So if you have really dry, cracked, painful cuticles, petroleum jelly really is a win for improving that. If you have rough, scaly, dry skin, like on your legs or the back of your arms, sometimes it's good to add in products with lactic acid or urea. So products like amlactin, Gold Bond Rough and Bumpy, or Urea Cream 40% that you can find on Amazon can help to improve that. These are humectants, and they actually draw more water and moisture to the skin. Just because you have dry skin doesn't necessarily mean that you have eczema.